Okay. This is question C. Okay. The fertilizer company. A fertilizer company uses a model to determine how the amount of fertilizers used, F kilogram per hectare, affects the grain yield, that is G, measured in tons per hectare. According to the model, how much grain would each hectare yield without any fertilizer? So without any fertilizer, the question clearly says that the amount of fertilizer uses F. If there is no fertilizer added, the value of F must be 0. So when you plug in 0, the second term and the third term of the expression, it becomes 0. This is void at 0. This whole expression is equivalent to 0. This whole expression goes to 0 and you are left with G is equals to 6. So this is 6 tons. B is this clear? First part.
Why do we void the other part of the equation?
The other part. One farmer currently uses 20 kilogram of fertilizer per hectare. How much more fertilizer would he need to use to increase his grain yield by 1 ton per hectare? He is already using 20 kilograms. And how much more must he use to increase 1 ton per hectare? So basically the value is the value of G. So let me solve this. Okay. The expression is G is equals to 6 plus 0.03 F minus 0.1234006 and F square. Initial value of fertilizer used is 20 kgs. So 6 plus 0.03 times 20 minus 0.tetra06 into 20 squared. Using calculator. This is 6 plus 0.03 times 20 minus 0.12346 times 20 squared. So we get 6.576. Now the yield is 6.576 tons when we are using 20 kgs. And he needs, what would he need to use to increase his grain yield by 1 ton? If he needs to increase by 1 ton, new requirement will be 6.576 plus 1, that is 7.576. Is the statement clear till now?
Yes, sir.
So at this stage, we know that we need 7.576 as our yield. So this is 7.576 equals 6 plus 0.03 F minus 0.12340 F 406 F square. So we need to find the unknown F. I'm rearranging the same equation, bringing it to left-hand side, 0.1234 F squared negative 0.03 F, and subtracting 6 from 7 is 1.576 equals to 0. Because these are all decimal values, I'll use quadratic formula. So minus b plus minus square root b square minus 4ac over 2a. Minus c minus 0.03 plus minus square root minus 0.03 b square minus 4 into a is 0.12346 and c is 1.576 whole under the root over 2 into a. Again, use of calculator. 0.03 plus square root 0.03 squared minus 4 into 0.12346 into 1.576 divided by 2 into 0.1234 and 6. So first answer is 440 with positive sign, and next answer with negative sign is 59.64. So the question statement was, how much more fertilizer would he need to use to increase the yield by 1 ton? So we have these two values. He's already using 20. So how much more? Is 59.64 kgs is basically required to get a yield of 7.576, which is 1 kg more. So subtract 20, he's already using 20. So he needs 39.6 kgs more. Is this in clear?
So you subtracted by the 20 given by F, right? 59.64 subtract by 20. Then you get the amount you need to increase by 1 ton per hectare.
Yes, we subtracted that amount. Initially, this was the data that when he uses 20 kgs, he is getting 6.57 tons. He need to get more, one more. So if we have to get one more, we definitely would add 1 and the new value is 7.57. And what is the amount of fertilizer we need to get this much output? Now this is known and the amount of fertilizer, which is F, is unknown. Plugged in the value, solved for the missing values, used quadratic formula, we got these two new values. So we were already using 20 kgs. 59 minus 20 gives you 39.6. So he should use 39.6 more to increase his yield by 1 kg. Yes, Mohammed?
Oh,
About the first value, 440, what do we do with that?
Or we will simply ignore that value. I'll explain how. If you just look at this expression before rearranging, G is equals to something this. F squared value is a negative number. So what do we do with a negative number? It is always a sad face. So if I try to sketch this graph anywhere, let's make it more easy and ignore this Y. So if I try to sketch it, I'll get this type of shape. There will be a maximum value at a certain value for F. Y-axis is basically G over here and X-axis is F. So assume this, he was getting 20, he was getting 6 point something at 20 kgs. So this was basically 20 kgs. When we increased it by 1 ton, new value is 7 point something, 7.56. So we can get this new yield at two new values. This is value A and value B. 400 kg will give the same yield and 59.64 will give the same yield. So at this particular value, definitely we will not add 440 kgs of fertilizer. We'll only use 59.64. And how is that practically possible? Consider this, that you have a room and you ask someone to clean it, and they claim that they can do this job in 3 hours. So this is your room. This is the room size, and one person can do it in 3 hours. What if one more person is added to the room? Expected time would be less than 3 hours. Do you agree? If there are two persons working now.
yes.
Yeah.
Now consider the same room, whichever room you're sitting in. If I say we keep on increasing the number of people, do you think the time required to clean the room will decrease?
Yes.
Okay. Now consider in the same room that there are now 50 people. Then think that there are now 117 people. Now increasing the number of people to such an extent actually means that there is no working space. Now they are even deprived of movability. If I ask you to clean your table, one person can do it in 1 minute. Two-person, maybe they'll take 40 seconds. But 100 people, you will not be able to even move your hand. There's not much space. We use a word, you will use this in detail in chemistry. Optimum. Optimum temperature, optimum conditions, optimum pressure. Have you ever heard of this?
Yeah, I have.
So this is the basic reality. If we go in detail, definitely that would be agricultural science, depending on the story of this question. So these are the two values that 440, there will be a certain amount of fertilizer. If you want to solve this, we will study differentiation and we can exactly find this amount, that if you add this much fertilizer, this is the maximum output you will get. But then there is an experienced farmer who will tell you that adding so much fertilizer and getting this much output actually is a loss because fertilizer is expensive. So he might tell you that add 40 kgs of fertilizer in one field and 14 other, rather than adding 300 kgs in one field. If we discuss on these two values, just consider on 20 kgs, we were getting 6.5, and adding 39 more, there is an increase of only 1. Does it make sense? If the farmer, he is adding 39 more. If he would have spare land, he should add 20 more to another land. If 20 kgs is giving him 6.5 tons, he should add 20 more to another land and get 6.5 tons. So in total, he would have 13 tons. But just to increase 1 kg, 1 ton, he is adding 36 more kgs of fertilizer in the same land. If
So
you
it's more
have
of a
studied Park studies or geography, there were land reforms, and land reforms dictated that one person could not have a field of size more than this or less than this, and these were the same reasons.
so it's more of a common sense answer
Yes.
to choose between the two. All right.
And definitely, if we are studying mathematics, we can say that we are mathematicians and we have derived this formula. By using this formula, we can tell our farmer how much fertilizer to use to achieve his goals. Any other question? This was a good one. And I'm very sorry, I haven't memorized your names yet.
I have one more. It's on the next page. It's
Yeah,
question
sure.
14.
Question
It's a bit
14.
longer.
One, page 36.
Yes.
Okay. Lynn is selling questions as part of an enterprise project. On her first attempt, she sold 80 cushions at a cost of pound 15 each. So her total is 80 times 15. She hopes to sell more cushions next time. Her advisor suggests that she can expect to sell 10 more cushions for every pound one that she lowers the price. If she is lowering the price, new price must be 14. It was 15, so now it must be 14. And if she's selling 10 more, we are expecting this. So the number of cushions sold are C, can be modeled by the equation. This equation is already given, where P is the price of each cushion and H is the constant. Determine the value of H. To model her, okay. So first we have to find H. The number of cushions sold is C. This is question 14, page 36. And the equation is C is equals to 230 minus HP. Now, C is the number of questions sold are C. So she sold 80 questions. 230 minus H is unknown. And the price of question was pound P is price of each question. It was 15. So solving for H is 80 minus 230 is equals to negative 15H. 80 minus 230 is 150. H is equals to 10 first part. Second part says to model her total revenue, that is R, Lynn multiplies the number of questions sold by the price of each question. She writes this as this. Rearrange R in the form this, where A, B, and C are constants to be found. To model her total revenue, Lynn multiplies the number of questions sold by the price of each question. She writes this as this. Number of questions sold is C. And if we multiply C with P, okay. So our new equation is R is equals to P times 230 minus HP. And if I say R is equals to P 230 minus 10P, R is equals to 230P minus 10P squared. Rearranging it, we get 10P square minus 230P plus R is equals to 0. Now this is the quadratic form. I'm dividing with 10 on both sides. So I get P
It's
square
minus
minus
R.
positive 10.
Oh, you moved. Never mind.
So now I'm going for completing square form. This form right here, A minus B, P minus C whole square. This is the completing square form. So P square minus 23P plus 10 by 10, R by 10. The first step is making the coefficient of X square as 1. Second step is half of coefficient of X. So this would be P square minus 23P, and half of it is 23 by 2 square minus 23 by 2 squared, and then the remaining equation plus R by 10. Then P minus 23 by 2 whole squared minus 23 by 2 squared is 529 by 4 plus R by 10 is equals to 0. So I'm again multiplying the whole equation with 10 to get rid of the denominators. Or if we consider 10 and 4, our LCM is 20. So straight away multiplying with 20. So this is 20, P minus 23 by 2 whole square minus 2645 plus 2R is equals to 0. So this is our overall constant 20 into P minus 23 by 2 squared using a positive sign 2R minus 2645. So B and this is the constant is A and this is C. Any confusion till now?
I'm just confused about the part, the 2654. Did you just times it by 20? Did you times 524 over 4 by 20 to get 2645?
You're talking about this step?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, we had 4 and 10 in our denominators. First, I thought of multiplying the whole equation with 10 to get rid of that 10.
Mhm.
So then I thought that 4 and 10, they have an LCM of 20. 10 2 times is 25, 2 times is 20. So 20 was the number that in one go, I'll get rid of that number. Or else it would have been
Uh,
in decimal form. Like
so you
I
just got the lowest
actually
common factor.
did this. Yeah, I took the LCM in one step.
Okay. Okay.
I actually
I
did
understand.
this. So then rearranged. Using your answer to part B or otherwise show that Lane can increase her revenue by 122.50 pounds through lowering the prices and state the optimum selling price of the cushion. Okay. Rearrange R in the form this. Rearranging R in the form this. Let me relate these two. The number of cushions sold C, where pound P is price of each cushion and H is the constant, determine the value of H, that is 10. The model her total to revenue. Lynn multiplies the number of cushions sold by the price of each cushion. She writes this as this. So revenue is definitely C was number of cushions sold into price. So cost times price. We get the revenue. Rearrange R in the form this. 230p HPs to form this where A, B, and C are constants. Okay, I think I've made one mistake. R is equals to P times 230 minus 10p. Let me just confirm it in 1 minute. 230p minus 10p squared. This is minus 10p square plus 230p. Taking out 10 as common, I'm left with p square minus 23p minus 10 p square minus 23p plus 23 by 2 squared minus 23 by 2 squared is equals to negative 10 times p minus 23 by 2 whole square plus this was 23 by 2 was 529 minus 529 by 4 and then bringing in 10 is minus 10 p minus 23 by 2 whole squared plus 5 into 10 1322.5. This is the correct version. I just missed that part. We had to keep R on one side. It clearly said rearrange R into this form. I actually took all in one side. That was a mistake. You have to keep R on one side and do the completing square for the rest. Using your answer to B or otherwise show that Lynn can increase the revenue by 122.5 pounds through lowering her price and state the optimum selling price of the cushion. If you can see, P is the price. P is the price of cushion. And this is negative 23 by 2, which is 11.5 squared plus 1322.5. So the controlling factor is P. If you can change P, value of R, which is your revenue, will change. So what happens when I increase this price? Do not forget this negative sign. If I increase P, do you think value of this expression will increase, the encircled one? And if this number is increasing, you are multiplying it with minus 10. So overall value will reduce. 1322.5 is positive value. So overall value will reduce. What is the maximum value we can get out of it? It is that value when the value of P is 11.5. If I use minus 10 into 11.5 minus 11.5 squared, this is actually a negative expression. If the negative expression reduces to 0, the maximum output would be 1322.5. Do you agree? So to get the maximum output, the optimum selling price should be 11.5. One part. And the second part was show that Lane can increase her revenue by 122.5 through lowering her prices. She can increase her revenue by lowering the prices. So we can use two different values. For example, minus 10, if I use value of P, I've used 11.5, I'm using 10.5. If I use this value, 5, or use 12.5, if we increase this value, the difference is now 1. So if you use 1 squared minus 10 plus 1322.5, you get 1322.5 minus 10, which results in 1312.5. So increasing the value actually decreases the revenue. First, if we use 11.5, we are getting this revenue. If we used 12.5, we are getting this revenue. So increasing the value is actually decreasing the revenue. So this is the answer to your half part of this question. G, confusions?
So none so far.
Any other question?
No.
Okay. So I'm coming to this part. Let me show you this. We are aiming to complete this book in 4.5 to 5 months max. So this was Quadratics. I will share past paper worksheet with you in maximum 1 to 2 days relating to Quadratics. The first one is algebraic expression. I'm coming to this thing, and most of it is covered in IGCSE. We can save time. If you tell that you already knew this topic, we can skip that. If no, definitely we'll go for practice and continue this book in order. So there is no prerequisite which is missed. For example, the binomial expansion, we can definitely start this chapter because there's no prerequisite. But for few chapters, there is. If we go for differentiation, definitely we must know quadratics first. So I'm coming to this chapter and I would like your input. Just in case you've already done that and you know the concepts are clear, we will save our time and proceed to next exercise. This is maximum from IGCSE, but is part of your A levels. Okay.
Sure,
Index
index laws are
laws.
straightforward.
That's it. That's what I required. Expanding the expressions in simplest form, multiplying the brackets just. That is again straightforward, simplifying these expressions. If you have this, may I write it as x7 by x3 plus x4 by x3? So these are again simple indices. You're left with x4 plus x. Any confusion? You may have different approach, but the answer will be same. For example, x7 plus x4 by x3. If I take out common as x3 from numerator, I'm left with this. And you can eliminate these two. You see for yourself, the answer is same in both the cases. Is this part clear? We can definitely practice if
Yeah.
you say so. So these are the few examples. Expand and simplify again. Simplification, expanding brackets. This is all from IGCSE. Expand and simplify, definitely multiply and adding the like terms. Expand and simplify again. Examiner may ask you to find the area or perimeter in terms of x. If it is perimeter, we'll add all sides. If it is area, we'll multiply length into breadth and then divide or subtract depending on the shape. Factorize these expressions. You remember factorization? For example, let us choose this. So I can take out 4x as common. So I'm left with 2x plus 5. Factorize quadratic form, middle term breaking. We've covered this in topic 2. Again, factorization. Factorize these expressions. For example, we take out common 4 and you're left with x plus 2. Or if we have this 4 and y, you're left with 3y minus x. So factorizing. Can you tell me how we'll solve this one? x4 minus y4.
Put x minus y in a bracket and then put to the power of 4. Wait, that wouldn't work, would it?
Whenever there is a positive or negative sign, we cannot do that. If it would have been multiplication, then yes. x4 times y4, you can write xy part 4. But positive negative sign, not the case. Do you remember this? A square minus b square was equals to a plus b times a minus b. First of all, you have to remember this. Do you remember this algebraic expansion? If no, I'll write all these three. They were a square minus b square equals to a plus b into a minus b. Second was a plus b whole squared, which is a square plus 2ab plus b square. Third one was a minus b whole square, which is a square minus 2ab plus b square. So these were the algebraic expressions or inequalities. So in this case, we are using the first one, a square minus b square. If I may write this equation in this way, x square squared minus y square squared. Any issues? I can see that it is a square minus b square. So I'm writing a plus b times a minus b. Now you can see that we have squares, but in the first bracket, it is positive sign and we do not have any expression for this, but in the second, it is negative. So second one could be further factorized to this a plus b times a minus b. So this is its complete factorization.
Huh?
This is part, yes. Sorry, I didn't get it.
In an equation, what would be the use of factorizing that?
Okay,
X to the power of
this
4 minus y to the power of 4.
this is actually basics that how do you handle this? Then these basics are used in topic 2 to factorize. If you may have certain type of equation, we just handled the equations which were maximum to the power 2. Then we have chapter 8, which is binomials. There we'll also deal with this thing, power 6, any power. So we these are the basics to understand that how do we handle these simple terms. Then when we increase the power with 3, 4, 5, 6, we have this. This would be NC1, B1, A, N minus 1. We'll cover this in detail and so on. There's a formula to this, but the basic understanding lies in topic 1. Or you are asking it's used in real life.
No, I was asking if it's used anywhere else in the book.
Yeah, this will be used in this book. This is basics, and then you will be expanding the expressions which are paired more than 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or any number. This power 6 would mean that it will open into 7 terms. If the power would have been 16, it will open to 17 terms. Whatever the power is, one more term. Okay, now this is negative and fractional indices. There's no difference, but the numbers and powers will be in fractions. The laws are same. Again, simplification, negative, positive. You multiply these two. So what happens? X raised to the power 1 by 2 plus 3 by 2, which is x square. And some practice. You do have the book. It might take you 10 minutes to like go through few questions and practice them. I would recommend that practice surds this 1E. Try doing it without calculator. And the question says, do this without calculator. So under root 28. Anyone remembers how we handle this? Under root 28. For example, if I write square root 64, the answer is 8. If I write cube root of 64, the answer is 4. But what do I write when I say square root of 18? So this was 18, 2, 9 times, 3, 3 times, 3, 1 time. So we have a pair of 2, which is 3 squared times 2. In case when it is square root, the pair 1 comes out of it. So actually square root 18 could be written as 3 under 2. This question right here, it asks about square root of 28. So we'll solve 28 into this, break 28 into prime factors. That is 2 14 times, 2 7 times, 7 1 times. So again, pair of 2, I can write 2 square root 7. Are you getting it? There are different methods, different approaches. All are acceptable. Suppose you have square root 27 over 3. I know that 27 is 3 times 3 times 3. Square root over 3. This is a pair of 2. So this comes out. So this is 3 square root 3 by 3. 3 cancels out with this. You're left with square root 3. So square root 27 by 3 could be written as square root 3. Other rules are of multiplication of surds and addition subtraction of surds. This is the simple rule. A square root B minus C square root D. These are all different. It stays as it is. For example, you have 2 under root 3 minus 4 under root 5. This stays as it is. But if you had 2 square root 3 minus 4 square root 3, now the surds are same. This is exactly 2x minus 4x. We handle it exactly in this way. So this becomes negative 2 square root 3. If you had 2 square root 3 multiplied by 4 square root 5. Now, the numbers outside the square root will multiply and the numbers inside the square root will multiply. So this becomes 4 2 times 8 square root 15. Any queries about this?
Have any?
G, you're welcome to ask. Not any? So let's come back to this. This is expand and simplify. Simple algebraic multiplication. This would become 2 under root 3 into plus 3. Square root 3 into square root 3 is definitely square of square root 3. So the answer is 2 square root 3 plus 3. And definitely this thing, give your answer in form of this. When the examiner tells anything in the question, we respect that and we will ensure that we have simplified the answer to that form. Okay, rationalizing the denominator. This is something few students they forget. So do you remember what was rationalizing? Rationalizing is multiplying and dividing with the denominator. This is under root 3 by under root 3. So my answer will be this. When there are two terms in the denominator, be very careful. You always have to change the sign of second expression. I've multiplied it with the denominator and divided with the same number, mathematically making no change in the expression, but changing the sign of second number. Why so? This is because when we write it, we get that expression a plus b into a minus b. Notice this. 3 plus under root 2 into 3 minus under root 2. This is a plus b into a minus b, which is a plus b into a minus b, which is a squared minus b squared. This is the very reason why we are using this, to get rid of the under root. So simplifying one question for you, this is 3 plus square root 2 times 3 minus square root 2 over 3 minus square root 2. So numerator is 3 minus square root 2 and the denominator is very clearly a square minus b square. A square is this and b square is this. Any doubts? This becomes this. And if the question demands that write the numbers separately, definitely one more step, it would result like this. This is correct as well if it just demands simplification. But if the question tells you write your answer in the form a plus b under root c, that means separated form. So you do one more step. Okay. Again, practice exercise. And then this is mixed exercise. If you want to save time, you can go through the mixed exercise to see if you remember the rules of indices and surds. Such as this question number 22, it says show that this could be written as this. So we will ensure that we have simplified it enough in this form. Summary of formulas and then chapter 2, quadratics. I've heard two voices and I believe we are 3 students and 1 teacher, right? May I get a little familiarize? May I hear your voice, Muhammad Abbasi?
Hi.
Thank you, Mahat.
That's it.
Okay. So, Mahad, you asked few questions today
I asked the first two
initially.
from the
Okay.
book.
And yeah, who am I like Kamran?
Yeah,
How do you
sorry,
how do you
my name is
pronounce it?
Mudgal. Yahya.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Kamran. I think yeah,
Just
yeah.
misspelled his name on Zoom. There's not meant to be a
You
U
speak
in his
better.
first name.
yeah.
Okay, okay. I'm actually very poor at remembering names, but I'll definitely learn with your strengths and weaknesses. So this is chapter 1 and chapter 2 by today. Please just make sure that we have this on grip, and definitely if we complete chapter 1 in 1 day or 2, this will save our time, and the topics later on like trigonometry, binomial, arithmetic progressions, differentiation, integration, they are longer ones. They will take time. If there is any confusion regarding uh, any question in chapter 1 or 2, you may share screenshots in the same group, WhatsApp group, and I'll let you know when you're practicing. Anything else you would like to ask?
Have any questions?
Uh,
Okay, then make sure that for today, you know what is in chapter 1. Okay. See you tomorrow, inshallah. Allah Hafiz.